Hi, this is on Imagination with a Healing Garden, and welcome to Shifting Perspectives. I do something every night and every morning consistently, and it's the difference between where I am now and where I used to be. I have a whiteboard, literally like right over here, and it lists all of my wants, all of my cans. It lists all of my manifestation focus. And every day I wake up and I read that. And it is like I've woken up and I have adjusted the ship that I am in charge of precisely where I want to go. So that if something is off with my mood, with anything, if something happened while I slept, I have a moment where I check in. I check the coordinates, I check where I am, I check where I want to go, and I adjust it ever so slightly. When I was in my trauma, this was a practice I did then also. It's something that I used to do without mindfulness most of my life. And every time I noticed that I would steer off my heading, I would go back to this habit, not realizing what I was doing, not realizing that it was manifestation. Once I became consciously aware that it was manifestation, it became so much easier. It was like, whoa, well, there you go. There's just plug it right in and do it. But there's another part of it that really is interesting. I manifest dreams, but then I also manifest how. That way, I get the answers much faster and I can work toward the how while the universe shifts things toward my favor. This is really, really advantageous. The frequencies are basically the electromagnetic field in the earth. And the universe, our subconscious mind, physics, everything has to keep everything aligned. It's obsessed with it. It's what it does. There must be alignment. And when the universe detects a lack of alignment, its only focus is to put it back in alignment. It's not conscious. The electromagnetic field is not a conscious being. It's just this is how magnets work. This is how physics works. Everything is either drawn or repelling. Everything is either shifting or moving. Everything is either it's fluctuating because it has to be aligned. It's as if, and I believe this completely, the entire world, including us and everything in it, is in this constant shifting dance to make sure that the alignment is stable. And good God, if you look at the way our planet is rotating, if you look at the way our planet moves on its axis, alignment is dire to its function. And when it's not in alignment, that's when we see catastrophe, that's when we see problems, that's when we see things happening. So that being said, when I learned this, it was very much sitting down and purposely telling myself, my frequency, pulling on it, where I wanted it to go, where I wanted the alignment to go. And then my actions would emanate that alignment. And it got to a point where, well, the only thing that's lacking is the reality. Therefore, we must shift. And that's how the shifting happens. But if you manifest and then you sit on your butt and do nothing, you are literally putting all of the pressure, all of the work on the universe. And I grew up in a home that prayed. I remember so many times watching my mom pray, and then she promptly did nothing because she had faith in her God so much that she did nothing. And that is the problem. That is where having faith really is a detriment, because faith is not a get out of jail free card where you get to sit back and just do nothing. It doesn't work that way. What you sow, so shall you reap. Case in point. So if you just think making wishes all day and then sitting back is all that there is to it, it doesn't work that way. It does not work that way. So says the Bible, that what you sow, that is what you reap. If you want fruit, you had better learn how to plant a tree and nurture it properly. And every manifester, every millionaire I have spoken to on this has said the same thing consistently without a doubt. You have to do the work on your end to get you to pull it toward you. It's like you are the catalyst of the force pulling everything your way. So it's not just the words, it's actually your actions doing the work. But it's not just the words and your actions, it's your subconscious mind. So when you manifest, you have 3 parts to you. Well, 4 parts. You have your subconscious mind's interference, you have your actual actions, what you're doing, and then you have you have the energy itself, basically the energy pool shifting and moving around. I know I said 4 just a minute ago, and I can't remember what the 4th one was or if I miscounted. It'll come to me. But you have all of these things. It's the words. It's the words. The words matter. The words matter. So you have the subconscious mind, you have your own actions, you have the energy pool, and then you have your words, which is just setting intent. And when you say something, when you set intent, it's not your words pulling on the universe thread. It's your words actually just conditioning your subconscious mind. That's all it is. You're conditioning your subconscious mind. And if you don't say the words, your subconscious mind doesn't get it. It's setting intent. When you say the words, your subconscious mind tunes in. Our whole system is built off of our communication system. So when we stop communicating, things stop happening for themselves. So if you just pray, well, you've got your words, you've got your subconscious mind there, but then you do nothing. So now you're not generating any energy, and there's no actions on your end. So nothing happens, which is why so many people just sit there and they pray and they pray and they pray and nothing happens. You actually have to do something. So, and it's extraordinary to watch, because my mom would, it was extraordinary. And I grew up watching her pray, but then do nothing. And I would sit here. So for me, it's very important that I do something, but it's also important to know what to do. It's important to know what to do. You don't get to decide the how, you have to decide the what. But the problem is I didn't know how to do. I didn't know what to do. So when I manifest, I always manifest what the next stage is. What do I need to do? And I go to bed at night and I sleep without fail. 3 a.m. rolls around. I wake up and I'm in this place between sleep and awake, and I watch this movie play in my mind. My intuition is loud at that time period, 3 a.m. every morning. And I see the next step. I see myself doing the next stage. I see my solution played out in front of me. I wake up, I write down what the solution is. I write it all down, and then I go back to sleep. And the next morning I wake up and there is the how-to right in front of me. And that's what I set to work on that day. This has never failed me. This is why I always get what I want, is because I sent the intention, I manifest it, I put it down, I focus. It's at a point now where my mind is so honed into positivity and results that I don't think about it. It's subconscious now. So that when I go to bed, I've set the intent, I know I need a solution, and my subconscious mind is going to give me one. And sure enough, it locates what it is that's the most obvious answer, the simplicity of it, and it gets it right to work for me. It's beautiful. And it's never wrong because it's actually built off of my intuition. So it's when my subconscious mind, my intuition, and the subconscious mind does not shut down when you sleep. The subconscious mind actually goes to work when you're asleep. It's sleeping. The subconscious mind is most asleep during the day. It is most awake when you're sleeping, which is why it's so important that you manifest at night, because that's when your subconscious mind wakes up and goes to work. So I actually give my subconscious mind work to do when I go to sleep. And that's when my subconscious mind works with my identity and it works with my intuition. So I've got my subconscious mind, my intuition, and my identity all working as a team while conscious mind sleeps. Conscious mind wakes up at 3 a.m., sees all this activity happening, and I'm like, "What the hell are you guys doing? I'm so glad you're doing it, but wow, you guys are on to shit. All right." And then I go to sleep, and then I wake up, and there's the solution. Oh, okay. It's fantastic. Just let the system do what the system is supposed to do. And I never worry about the how. I never worry. And what I love is every day that I say something like, I will be paying all my bills this month. My whole system purrs because it feels like I have spoken a truth. And I've spoken a truth. And when you manifest something you don't have, it feels like you've spoken a truth because it has become a truth. This is the art of shifting a belief and a desire into a reality. And that is it right there. You are shifting a belief and a desire into a reality. So, one of my favorite things to manifest is shifting perspectives. Shifting perspectives is extraordinary. I am sitting here with Stephen Covey's The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. I wrote this book when I was 15 years old. And all I remember from it was build your life on your ethics. That's all I remember from the book. So this morning I was like, oh, he's got 7 points in here. Let me look at the other 6 points because I don't remember. And the very first thing I open this book up to is Einstein. The way we see the problem is the problem. And I just went, yeah, that's my life work. That is exactly it. Beautifully said. Beautifully said. He has a quote in here from Einstein. I'm going to read you in a minute. But there is this mentality, and I'm calling it a mentality, that our abusers caused our mental illness. And that is a victimization mindset. There is this mentality that we have mental illness because we were abused. That is a victim mindset. And I can prove it to you. Have you ever heard of a dry alcoholic? A dry alcoholic is somebody who behaves like an alcoholic without ever drinking alcohol. They were taught the belief system of an alcoholic, their parents usually. It happens a lot to children who are raised by alcoholics. The child will develop alcoholic-like symptoms, identical to an alcoholic without ever drinking alcohol, because they were taught the mindset. As a result, psychology has a word for that: dry alcoholic. Well, I found out when I had my children that you can also have dry PTSD, that you can have dry narcissism without actually being exposed to any of it. You just adopt the beliefs of your mentally ill parents because they teach you the beliefs of the mentally ill. So you could walk around with mental illnesses that you don't actually have. Or do you? What's the definition of having a mental illness? Try and figure out what is the definition of having a mental illness. It's all mindset. All of it comes from your belief system. All of it comes from your belief system. And your belief systems are what create your perspectives. Now, I know how to change beliefs. I know exactly how to change beliefs. I know how to identify limiting beliefs. I know how to identify my beliefs. I know how to separate the two. I know how to challenge limiting beliefs. That's philosophy 101. So for me, in my world, a belief is something you 100% get to choose. You can choose to have a belief or you can choose to reject it. You can be consciously aware of what your beliefs are and decide that you don't want to believe in something anymore. You can be so miserable that you finally reach a point where you decide, I'm just not going to participate and do this anymore. Every time I have a fear or a hesitation, I decide that it's my mindset that's the problem. And I change the mindset. I focus on, I don't want to have this mindset anymore. If there's something I don't like doing, I decide that I love doing it. And I change the belief. and I find the angle. I don't have to find the angle. The manifestation finds it for me. I just have to want to change the angle. For instance, I want to love sales because loving sales allows you to embrace the ability to communicate with people. It embraces the power of persuasion. It absolutely embraces a massive, it's extraordinary. Everything in this world, every job, even when you want a job interview, you are selling yourself. Every time you open your mouth and you give someone an idea, you are selling them on an idea. So, what is sales? We all have this concept in our mind, and it's to persuade. It is just persuasion. Selling is persuasion. It is the ability to shift someone's way of thinking so that it reflects your own. It's persuasion. So for me, this is a huge, huge thing. This is like, I don't want to go into a job and have to convince somebody that they need to hire me. I want them to beg me to work for them. And they do. And I do it because I'm that good at persuasion. I am that good at sales. I know how to sell myself. I know how to write a resume. I really know how to put myself out there. I know what other people value. So I know exactly how to hone those skills that they value so that I can present them. The power of persuasion is easily one of the most powerful skills you can possibly hone in your entire life. Now, I want you to wrap your head around this concept. We all dream about the ability of being able to stand there and have a conversation with somebody and persuade them. We dream about winning arguments. We dream about being able to overrule somebody with words. How good are you at persuading yourself? Can you persuade your own perspective to change? Can you persuade your own beliefs to alter? Can you persuade your own subconscious mind to submit? That is power. That is the true power. When you have the ability to sit down over a quiet cup of coffee and talk to yourself and show your own self where the error in their thinking is, so that that's not you talking. You know who that is? That's your mother talking. That's your brother talking. That's not you. Why are you copying them? Why are you repeating their garbage? You don't even like them. They never liked you. What are you doing? You tell me why you're doing that. Now, I already know why they're doing that. I'm doing that because I'm afraid. People make objections because they're afraid. If you persuade somebody and they object, you're up against fear. Fear I know about. When somebody makes an objection, I ask them a question every time. Let me ask you something. Is that really the problem? Or is the real problem that you're afraid? Is that the excuse? An excuse is a diversion. So it wasn't good enough for me to be a powerful persuader. I didn't want to just be in sales. I wanted to truly have the gift of persuasion. I didn't want to make money. I want to earn money, but I didn't want to just get money for the sake of having money. I wanted, and I still do, to make sure that whatever I do for a person benefits them the most. Oh my God, that is like, I have a wide range of services from free all the way up to $30,000. And the more money you spend, the faster you'll get results. It's that simple. Simple healing. So money is not an objection. It doesn't even play into it. The question is, how much? I love this question. I love this question. How much money do you want to spend? How much time do you want to take getting there? That's it. Do you want immediate results? Or do you want to spend 20 years on your therapy? Because one version is free, the other will get you 8 weeks in results. And then that's it. That's what I teach people. That's what my masterclass is. I teach people the power of persuasion. I teach them persuasion through perspective. And it's when you decide to become so honest with yourself about your relationship with fear. And that's really it. It is your relationship with fear. Your relationship with fear determines everything. It determines your resistance. It determines where you take the direction that you have in life. It determines what you do and don't do. It determines your poverty. It determines your bed partner. It determines your children. I don't like fear. I hate fear. Oh my God, I hate fear. I have these flashcards on my refrigerator. Fear marks the spot. That means wherever there's fear, that's where I need to go. Fear is a nuisance. I don't have time or space in my life for fear. So when I see that fear is in my life, I immediately say, nope, we're getting rid of that. Fear is not allowed in my life. I don't have any time for it. I don't have any space for it. It takes up too much. It has taken too much already away from me. So fear is my nemesis. When you decide to make fear your enemy and not your abusers, now that's a perspective change. Make fear your enemy, not your abusers. Because your abusers do not cause you trauma. They don't. You could have two people living in the same household under the same abuse. One will walk away with a mental illness, the other will not. Why? I asked myself these questions. I wanted to know why. Why was I the one to walk away with a mental illness? And I found out it's because I had the most fear. It's because I had the most toxic beliefs. I learned how to change my beliefs, and now, of my siblings, I am the most successful. I am the most abundant because I overpowered my fear, because I rejected the cultural mindset. The cultural mindset is a death, in my opinion. The cultural mindset is the very thing that takes us from thriving to just death. I used to be a debt collector for 5 years. I was one of the best debt collectors. But by the 5th year, I was so burned out that it ended up causing me a lot of trauma. The manager, we had a manager shift near the end that I was there, and she believed in public humiliation for inspiration. She had no fucking business being a manager. Her turnover was extraordinary. In addition, I had coworkers who were highly abusive. And the debtors, the people we were calling to collect, were highly abusive. Actually, not really. The people who were abusive were the people who answered the phone, and those were the people. And I got to hear some really horrific stuff. But the fact that I endured something like that for 5 years, the burnout usually is 2. And I walked away with so much knowledge and so much information. It's funny because when you focus so much on what you don't want, that's exactly what you get. Because you are manifesting with intent when you focus on what you don't want, which is why you should always focus on what you do want. That's the power of a positive mind versus a negative mind. A negative mind will think about what you don't want. Instead, focus on what you do want. Focus constantly on what you do want. But do it for proper reasons. So I am heading over to Meditation for Beginners now. I absolutely invite you to join me. I invite you to book a call with me. I would love to sit down, talk about your healing journey, and find out where it is you want to take your life. And then we'll develop a plan to get you there. Absolutely. The link is below, and we'll set up a schedule. We'll set up a time in which we'll jump on a call. And let's go ahead and design your healing journey. Thank you. Subscribe to my newsletter. Subscribe to the channel. And thank you so much. May the kindest of words always find you.